Oh, when and where? Well, I was married to a great guy, had a great life. We had a friend that was living with us and needed a place to stay who was a lesbian. And one day we were all watching TV. She went to walk by us and I checked her out going, oh my God, what the hell was that? And I didn't know. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting on the couch sitting next to my husband and I'm like, I need to tell him. That night I said, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm attracted to this individual. And right then and there I came out.
I came out when I was 13. It was at home. I came out to my mother, and she was really accepting. She said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah." And that was the end of it. She was like, "Cool, that's cool. I still love you no matter what."
The first time I came out was when I was around the age of 4. I started having a conversation with my mother about my gender, and she told me to wait until I was older to have that conversation so her and I could have a better understanding about who I was and what I was. I officially came out as trans in high school with the help of NB Agley, the New Bedford Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth.
I knew I was different way back, and I just didn't have anything to identify with. And so I always had a support group around me. And so that was how it kind of worked. And then women formed groups. And we all kind of did things in groups.
I came out when I was 20 years old to my mother, who basically outed me. She asked me. New Bedford, that's where I'm from. I was in my house, and that was really it. I never really came out until later, much later in life. Maybe I got married for the first time. That was probably the second time I came out.
So I came out at home to my mother. I used kind of the cliche like, "Oh mom, I think I might be bi." I'm not bi, but and she just used she kind of knew already. She was like, "Oh, you've been hanging around with that high school boy." I already knew.
So I had to call my parents. Now, I think my father knew, but we just didn't talk about it because we were very telepathically close. But my mother had a heart attack, and she sent me to therapy. She said to me, if you don't go to psychotherapy and become straight, you're not going back to school. So I said, okay.
So I go over to the house and I just said, Mom and Dad, I need to tell you something, that Chris is always in our life. That's not going to change, but I'm gay. And they said, oh, okay, well, and they both thought for a minute to themselves, and they said, we're okay with that, as long as you don't hold her hand, you don't get close, you don't get physical, and things like that.
Basically, like, my nightmare kind of came true when I had my first boyfriend. His sister was like the most popular girl in my class, so when she found out, everybody knew. And I was all like worried, like, oh my God, what are they gonna say? But it went over really well. But thankfully for my luck, that was the last day of school, and then I moved to a new district.
After I came out, I felt now all of a sudden I had this new role to live up to, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to be living up to that. I wasn't really sure of anything at that point. So I kind of just stayed behind the scenes and just watched and observed. I was going out a lot, but mostly gay clubs. I wasn't out to anybody unless they were out themselves, really, except for my mother who outed me. So
the shock of the world was moving here. I mean, I've been here almost since 88, 89, somewhere in there, 90, let's say 90. And I've been single, except for 2 early relationships, the whole time. Not by choice, let me tell you.
The feeling I was experiencing coming out to my husband was, oh my God, this is my best friend. What is going on with me? And it made sense. All the pieces of the puzzles were there, except for that one missing piece. I always thought, this is my best friend and I love you, but that in love part was not there. And I'll probably cry now because that's what I do, y'all. And that was the saddest part, is to tell him. And I needed to be honest and true to him.
I think we need to join together and be one, and just the stronger we are. The more people we have, the stronger it is, and the more unified, and also the more straight people that can be exposed to different lifestyles, then they're not so afraid of it, so it's easier.
I'm sitting in full drag in the middle of a park in New Bedford, so clearly things are going in a positive direction. I still think that we have a lot more moving forward to do, especially with discrimination, and there's cases in Massachusetts where people are discriminating, again, not wanting to serve people who are LGBTQ or things like that. But we're moving in the right direction.
Some advice that I would give to someone that is starting to come out or looking to come out is to look for a peer or a person that you trust to come out to first and take it from there.
That one piece of advice isn't always the same for everybody. First thing I say is, depending on, do you have a plan? Do you have bags packed? Do you have a place to stay if where you're at isn't safe anymore once you come out? I think, years ago, if you would ask me that, I'd be like, be you, be proud, be your true, authentic self, which I say a lot. But for our younger generation, you got to have that plan. You got to be safe. There's so many LGBTQ youth that don't have a home anymore. They get kicked out, and we talk about that all the time. Have that plan and be safe.
I'm going to give you a piece of advice. If you don't get up and stand up for yourselves as LGBTQ, RS, etc., then you are not going to be happy with how life is going to come down on you.
My advice to someone who's struggling to come out would just to be who you are and try and be comfortable and positive with that, and surround yourself with people who love you.
My biggest piece of advice would be to accept yourself before you expect others to accept you. If once you realize who you truly are, you want to share that with someone, because keeping secrets and lying to other people, lying to yourself, it's just going to do a lot of damage to your mental health.
The best piece of advice I can give to someone coming out is that no matter how bad it seems of the reaction to coming out, it will always get better, and you're never alone. There are other people out there who are just like you.